Okay, so let's talk about the latest episode of Atlanta, Crank That Killer. So we've already talked about the other episodes this season. Check them out on my channel. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers. Well, we just hit 25,000. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and we're doing a 25,000 subscriber giveaway. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and make sure you comment below you want to enter into the giveaway, and that will get you an entry. Check out our giveaway video as well to find out how to get more entries, and we will have a drawing on the 31st of October. The contest will run until October 29th, and that's when we're going to close the entries, and then we'll have a live and everything. But more on that on the giveaway video. Go check it out. But let's talk about the latest episode of Atlanta, which I thought was my favorite so far of the season, honestly, because so much happened, honestly. So pretty much we start this episode by them talking about this killer that's out there who is targeting anybody who did a Crank That video back in the day. And if you were on social media, you knew about those videos back in like 2007, 2008, when people were doing these Crank That videos. I mean, there was a bunch of them. We even had like Crank That Spider-Man and all of these other ones out there. But pretty much started with the Crank That song by Soulja Boy, and you know, the dance and everything. But let's talk about this episode because I thought it was crazy and one of the best ones so far. So like I said, they're talking about this Crank That killer that's out there targeting anybody who did these Crank That videos back in the day. And that's when Al's kind of like, hold on. I did a video back in the day with the Crank That, called the Crank That Jimmy Neutron, and he shows the video to Ern and Darius, and they're just like, well, you know, it was a while ago. It doesn't have that many views. Why don't you just call the guy up and tell him to take it off who you did this with? And he's like, I ain't giving nobody my number. I'm sorry. On the other side of things, you have Darius and Ern who are trying to get these Nikes that are really hard to find. And side note, Nike actually just recently said that they were going to stop these sellers from getting a hold of all of these shoes and then reselling them because people are complaining because they were selling them for a lot more than they were initially being sold for. So Nike put into effect something that was going to stop them, but who knows if that will work right. Eventually come to a person that is able to get them the shoes, and they're going to meet up to try and get these Nikes that are so hard to find. You also have Al, who is trying to get away from somebody who is trying to do a song with them because he's just like, I ain't doing a song with that person at all. And so you see him dodging this person at the studio. We do have a little story going on with some kid who's trying to become a rapper, and he's like, I can have my big break just like Big Sean did with Kanye West when he sort of rapped to Kanye, and that's when he got his big break. That could be me. And he works at the mall that we actually are going to see Paperboy go to. And so we deal a lot with all of these things going on at the same time. So you also have Paperboy, who is kind of like weirded out because they leave a comment on the Crank That video with a like skull, so he's pretty much feeling like he has a target now in his back. He even calls up Soulja Boy, and Soulja Boy is just like, you gotta get out of town. That's what I'm doing. If you don't get out of town, I don't know what to tell you, but you gotta get out because things are not looking good. I'm out of here. Paperboy's a little bit like, I'm gonna take my chances, and he goes to the mall. He has a pretzel and everything, and the worker actually recognizes him, and he's like, how are you able to recognize me if I have a disguise on and everything? She's like, because you have a disguise. Only people who don't want to be known are wearing a disguise. And then she points to someone who's Chris Evans, apparently. And I was here peeking. I was like, is that really Chris Evans? But anyways, we see that Paperboy goes out to enjoy his pretzel and everything. And then there's a guy who stops his car and goes up to him, and he just starts charging him. Now, I was thinking, this is the serial killer right here. And was this a serial killer? We'll talk about that in a bit. On the other side of things, you got Ern and Darius, who are now with the Sneaker Man. The Sneaker Man has the sneakers, but he's like, I want you two to kiss if you want these sneakers. And Ern and Darius are like, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious right now? And he's like, I am serious. I need y'all to kiss. That's the only way you're going to get these sneakers. And then we have a whole back and forth between them about like, why do we have to do this? I don't think we're going to do this. And Darius is like, come on, it's worth it. We're not paying 10 grand. We can just pay 200 right here to get these sneakers. And they just have a back and forth with this. Then the other side of things, you got Al, who is now running from this guy who's trying to kill him, shoot him. And then we got a bunch of other civilians fighting the guy too with their own guns, and it's a shootout in the mall and everything. Also got the guy who's trying to give his rap to Paperboy show up, and Paperboy is like, I don't got time for this, pushes the guy all the way into the glass as it breaks, and Paperboy is on his way out. The guy is right on his tail, but then he is saved by the guy who wants to do the feature with him, and he's like, man, I owe you one. So we know what the guy's gonna want to ask for, and yes, he pulls out the Bikini Bottom beat, and he's just like, you're gonna hop on this song with me, and we're gonna make this song on right now in the studio. Of course, Paperboy's just like, this guy just saved my life and everything, so I think I'm gonna have to go and do this. We then see Ern and Darius actually do their kiss, and they actually take their sneakers home with them, and then they meet up with Paperboy back at the house where they tell him the Crank That Killer has actually been caught. Show him a picture, and it's not the guy we saw at the mall. Apparently, Al says that that's a guy from high school he had beef with and all of this, and was trying to get him, and we don't know what happened to the guy, and also we don't know if this guy's going to show up in future episodes. But then we see Ern and Darius with their sneakers and everything, and that's pretty much our episode right there. So I thought that this was a great episode. Really, I think brought into light a lot of different issues, especially I think with the whole like what you do on the internet for years and years to come can definitely follow you. Even they talk about cancel culture and all of that with Twitter. They even mention the shade room and all of this. So I think it was really definitely about your digital footprint and how that can sort of follow you. Not really saying that the Crank That Killer can be real or not, but I think it's more along the lines of something you might have posted a while ago can definitely come back to haunt you many years later and maybe like end your career of sorts or whatever you have going with you. So you definitely have to be careful with what you put out there on the internet, because it's on the internet, it stays there pretty much forever if somebody just gets a hold of it and then copies it and all of that. And I think that was at its basis what this whole episode was about. I think also the whole hype culture and everything about how much you're willing to do, how much you're willing to bend backward on your morals, your values, your dignity and everything to keep up with the current trends. And it's just something that we see a lot. And like I said, Nike has just recently talked about resellers and everything being a problem as well. But it's not just with Nike. We see it with all of the different fashion brands, the street culture, streetwear, all of that, where we see these things just go for ridiculous amounts of money, and people are willing to do whatever it takes to get this sort of like merchandise because it's so like rare in their eyes and all of that. So I thought it was a very good way at portraying how much you're willing to do in order to sort of fit into the trend that's out there at the moment. And I thought it was a great episode overall. Really enjoyed seeing Soulja Boy in this, and I thought that the way it moved and everything, the storylines interacting with one another was so good. I was honestly like, what is about to happen at the mall and everything, because a lot of this season has been sort of saying something might happen, especially in the previous season as well. And so I was just anticipating something happening to Al. I'm glad he's safe, but we'll see what happens in the next episode. It looks like the next episode is really going to be a crossroads episode about what exactly is going to happen in Ern's future, and I'm interested in seeing how that one's going to play out. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on the latest episode of Atlanta down below. What did you think about Crank That Killer, all of that. Make sure you're following us here as well and subscribe to the channel to enter the giveaway, and comment below that you want to enter the giveaway as well so you can get an entry in there. Make sure you follow us as well on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all those places. You can get extra entries for the giveaway. If you want to know how that works, go check out the giveaway video. But as always, that is going to do it for me. Check out our Halloween Ends Ending Explained if you've watched the movie, where we discuss everything that happens and our thoughts and opinions on it. And we have a ton of other stuff coming for you this weekend, so don't miss out on any of that. Spooky season, so a lot of horror stuff. But as always, I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.